Hi guys. So I'm not really sure how far this will go or who it'll reach, but it's just been weighing on my heart really heavy lately to start sharing my experiences and what I'm dealing with mentally right now as I try to navigate certain situations. I think with the growing and advancements in technology and social media, there's so much information, so many opinions, so many views, so many calls to action, so many voices of change, yet no visible change, that I find myself really getting frustrated. And I don't know if I'm getting frustrated as a call to action and to continue to be a crusader for change, or frustration in the sense of stop trying to force people to see their own biases. And where my head has been at in most recent days is just like, I am tired. I am exhausted. I am at the point where I no longer want a seat at their table. Um, I no longer have the energy to think about how I'm being received or perceptions. It, we have started to use the word unapologetic or authentic or DE&I, and all of those phrases are great if and when they are truly being used and actioned, right? So I'm personally at a point where I took a break from my previous job and I was out for about 3 months. And during that time, I focused on myself heavily. Like, what did I want to do? What kind of spaces did I want to enter? What type of people did I want to be around? Where did I want to take my career? Because I knew that there was something drawing me from being product and profit focused to now being people focused. And I felt like I had reached a point in my career where I had obtained enough knowledge to be able to double back and bring that back to our community and help people see a way forward. Because I have been in corporate America, and not only corporate America, but Fortune 500 corporate America since 2012. And the first experience I had was I attended Pharrell's Mighty Dream Forum in Norfolk, Virginia, and that was eye opening for a few reasons. One, because it opened my eyes that there were like-minded young Black entrepreneurs and Black professionals in spaces that I hadn't been privy to yet, and that had similar experiences as mine and were fighting similar obstacles as me. And it opened my eyes to a world where I could have conversations with my peers that I hadn't been able to have before, at least not in such a vast way as I could over those 2 to 3 days. And I met some incredible people that are some of my closest friends to this day. And then from there, I was invited to the Black Brands Diamond Weekend, which was another incredible experience of not only exposure, but just being in rooms with like minded people, learning about business, learning about small entrepreneurship, learning about not only things that I could put into practice for myself, but seeing opportunities for me to be able to leverage the information that I had from the other side of the table to help these small businesses. And so I landed on the fact that I wanted to become an entrepreneur and I wanted to start a consulting business for small businesses. Well, where I think I faulted was that I didn't stand true in my convictions. And I definitely had people in my ear telling me, hey, Key, go after this. Like, you know what you're talking about. You're very personable. You care about the people. You understand what it takes to navigate these spaces, to get in these doors. You can do it. But see, I was afraid of not being able to make the same income that I was making. I was unsure about, healthcare and how that worked from my entrepreneurial perspective. I was weary about myself. I mean, in general, I just lacked the confidence, the self-confidence that I was inept and able to do these things. And so I ended up taking another position in a consulting position, and how I um, talked myself into it was more so like, okay, well, here's another opportunity for you to be able to get in and see how this consulting thing works from the ground up. Well, so far in my experience with this consulting agency, I am miserable. It is not what I thought I was signing up for, one, because I'm not really consulting. I'm teaching the same lesson plan over and over. And that is not my strong suit. If I wanted to be a teacher, I would have been a teacher and became a professor of, what I'm out here delivering. And what really drove me to make this video is part of what I talk about in my position is the perception of power and how much power we give people. And I started to think, how much power am I really giving this company over me, over my day-to-day, over my work-life balance, over my health, over, my financial security? And I thought about it even deeper as to why I'm feeling so uncomfortable in this space and why I could potentially be feeling imposter syndrome. And I came to the conclusion that one, not being financially literate enough to put myself in a financial savings position that if I am uncomfortable, I can exit stage left and not face any financial barriers. So then that leads me to a position and a place where now I feel like these people who have no care in the world for me as a person, because their end goal is to make profit, right? Now, these people who don't care about me as a person, don't care about my family, don't care about my life or lifestyle, are in control of my financial well-being because I wasn't responsible enough or literate enough to become financially responsible. And then from there, it's, well, if I was still going to remain in this environment of financial uncertainty, why didn't I bet on myself, right? Like, why didn't I take that control back as an entrepreneur? See, if I would have just stayed the path of the networks I was building, the opportunities that were being handed to me within the entrepreneurial aspect, then the only person who could deter my income or impact how much or how little I made would be me. And then I started to, come down on myself because Now I'm like, okay, not only did I make the wrong decision in not starting my own business like I had already planned and had the means to do, now I have given power to another company or another person, because the company in general doesn't really know who I am. It's the management directly above me who feels that they have control and or makes me feel like I have lack thereof, um, while they still talk about empowerment. But that's a whole nother, video that I'll create in a second. Um, but then I took another principle of what this job has taught me, and it's an acronym called BATNAs, and they use it in the context of negotiations and partnerships. When I was a category merchant, before you go into a negotiation, you consider what BATNAs do you have. So that's a best alternative to a negotiated agreement. And when you break down the context of what your job is when you're working with someone, it is a negotiated agreement. You have negotiated that for this amount of money per hour, per day, per week, per year, you will in return deliver this amount of work or result. And now the question when we talk about BATNAs is, what are your alternatives? In order to get this amount of money, is this the only company you can work for? Probably not. In order to do this line of work in which you have expertise in, is this the only company who has this position or this job title? Probably not, unless you're a very highly skilled, specialized individual. And even then, I would argue that there is at least several other options for you to choose from. You just might have to work a little harder, dig a little deeper, find some inside intel. But there's definitely another option, right? And then it's, do you have the option of completely removing yourself from all other controlled environments and still being able to maintain this amount of income? On the reverse, can you change your lifestyle? And I don't mean giving up some of the luxuries, but are there things that you pay for but you really don't need that you can cut back in order to be able to reduce the total amount of income needed in order to either invest it somewhere else and or create better work-life balances, whether it's improved health, being able to work out more, being able to spend more time with your family, whether it's kids, significant others, your parents as they grow older. But what are your alternatives to the situation you're currently in? What things can you control that would bring you joy? And when I started to step back and think about that, I'm like, this company really doesn't have that much power over me. Because if from this interview, they could see that I was worth over six figures just to have my face and my brain and my delivery in that seat and in that building would be beneficial, because otherwise, why did they hire me? Then surely, who can market me better than me? Who can champion me better than me? Surely there is a way for me to take this back into my own hands and create an environment where I can control myself, control the process, and control the other party. So, in summary, I have come to the conclusion that we often give our jobs, our employers, our circumstances way too much power. There is always an alternative. There is always a better deal on the table. And sometimes it's not about getting the biggest salary, right? Sometimes it is about the total value of the package. And therefore, that means looking at other variables such as work-life balance, such as, okay, now you have money in your bank account, but do you have the time to spend it, to enjoy it? Such as, okay, your kids are getting older and they're in after school activities. Are you, yeah, you can pay for the uniforms and pay for the shoes, but can you be there? Are they going to remember you actually being there, which is far more important than looking the part. Your significant other, as you grow into your relationships, are you able to physically be there to be support? Are you physically there to be able to have that aspect of affection? And that is how you build total value in your life. It is not about the money. While the money is definitely necessary, we have basic necessities. It's really about what's important to you. What are your priorities in life? And understanding that you can take back and shift the balance of power. So if I haven't taken anything else from this current job opportunity, all of these things are things that I have learned literally within the first 2 months that I have worked there. And I can say that with that, I'm highly likely to pivot my career again, because this isn't what I thought I was signing up for. But I was purposely placed and purposely positioned by God to be here and to accept the opportunity and to take it on for what it's worth, and to understand that when I was in doubt of my own capabilities and I was in doubt of my worth, this in and of itself and the uncomfortability that has come with it has been exactly what I needed to reconfirm the fact that I can do this. I don't gotta work for nobody. I don't have to dress the part. I don't have to speak the part to be accepted at their table. I have all of the tools that I need right here and right here to create my own table. And I don't mean just creating a table for me. I mean creating a table that opens up space for people who are tired of living and navigating these spaces where they're unwanted, where they're unappreciated. I have everything that I need to create the space that I desire and that I deserve. And anyone who is looking for that same experience, and anyone who is looking to come and sit at my table, my arms and my doors will be open wide, because I get it. I get it. And I haven't always gotten it, but I definitely get it. I get it now. And I'm so amazed by how God and the universe and my spiritual being is all aligning when I am the most unsure and the most, I would say, disempowered, to realign me that everything is going to be okay. And that this is just the jumpstart that I needed of reassurance that I am worthy. I don't got to deal with this. The same value that you see in me that's worth you paying me over 6 figures a year, I can triple that. I can quadruple that. Because like this job has taught me, there is always a better deal on the table. And I have alternatives. But the best alternative is me. I'm a hustle. I got this. Bye, guys.